SportsChatPlace.com and PickDogs.com. It is Thursday, July the 2nd, 2020. We're just a few days away from some basketball action. Talked to Ruffalo a little bit about that today. Plus, we have some sports news going on. Hockey looks like we're down now to a player's vote. MLB continues to roll towards their start and NBA starts. And, of course, here at Sports Chat Place and PickDogs.com, we're getting ready for our restart as well. I can't wait to say Dog of the Day. It's definitely something that's been part of my life for a long time, and I can't wait to start doing those videos again, ramping up those Pick Dog videos, because, man, did we have that Pick Dogs channel rolling with all the videos we were doing, and I'm going to continue doing it. And as a matter of fact, I've got help to do videos, the processing part of the videos, which means I can do more of the videos. I don't know where we're going to find it. We did do the Grambling, Florida A&M games and all of those kinds of stuff in college hoops, so we're going to keep digging and digging. Maybe someday I'll even do NHL and soccer, or maybe we'll do videos here for NHL with the Puck Dogs on a game-by-game basis. We'll figure something out, but I'll tell you what, whatever the other guys are doing, they're just going to be copying what we're doing. And it's just seems to be the way of the world. I've been talking to a lot of the other sites behind the scenes and guys who were, handicappers that we want to get onto our site or that we thought about. And, we have certain guys that we have and certain guys we're not going to have and who we're not going to have. The dirtbags and scumbags of the industry. And if you guys ask specifically about any of them, that's going to be my answer. They're not on the site because they're scumbags. But anyways, got other exciting things going on here in the world of sports. And for that, we're going to bring in Steve Monahan, our sports historian and news expert. Steve, how you doing?
I am good, Mitch. How are you?
Good. How's the podcast going? Sports with Mono and Mono. Steve does a podcast with his brother. They've started, it's maybe, 6 months in now on this thing? And yeah. I know, when I started, I had 3 visitors my first month. So, it's always a growth and building process. But how has that process gone for you guys?
We're learning basically on the fly, and the experience on this show and your guidance has been very helpful. We both have day jobs, so getting to do it more often during the week is the goal. So right now we're only doing it once a week, and typically on a Saturday we post it on SoundCloud, YouTube, and then like we're doing now, the goal is to have video and things like that and start getting some guests and things like that. But so far so good. The feedback's been very good, and we keep plugging along.
Yeah, I have to say that that getting started and when you're talking to nobody, it's a little tough. I did it for a long time. It took me a few months to really, like I said, I had 3 visitors my first month when I first started, and I had 10 the second month. And we kept plugging. Now we have millions and millions, and it's like it literally doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen overnight. It's like, it's amazing how fast it happens. I went from a situation when I started Sports Chat Place where, we could, I was doing it and I had a full-time job when I first started. I used to work at an investment firm, and I'm not legally allowed to say that. It's like, why does every job I used to have legally not allowed to say anything? But I'm not allowed to say what exactly the employer was. But I had a job, and I was I don't know what do they call it? What's the term? I mean, I was escorted out by security, but it's like, I think they call it letting go or mutual parting of the ways or something like that, right? Let's just say
you're an at-will employee.
It was basically
sever the relationship.
The conversation went like this: you can't work here anymore, and because I was building my website while I was working. Basically, they financed the first year and a half of the website. I was at the job, working on the website, and that it didn't go over all that well. I was shooting videos in my office. It's like I had back then they had these little flip cameras, and I had one of those, and I used to do that. So I know, like, you do the podcast with your brother Jim, and these guys, Jim and Steven, all of his brothers, the Monahan brothers, right? They and sister, they know more about sports than like everybody, right? And especially like their hometown stuff and the Giants and all that stuff. As you branch out a little bit, I think Steve knows his stuff, and some of the other guys are still, it's kind of like the Bears guys, right? Bears 643, to nothing. But I think it's a good mix, and I think that they do have a thing, and maybe we'll do something. We'll have the Monahan brothers on and do like kind of a video, have them on, see what you guys think, because it's not sports.
We'll have you on as a guest.
It's not sports betting, but it's definitely something. It's definitely sports. But it's like, as we move into the action, maybe we have them on and see exactly what these guys are made of. But
appreciate it.
Anyways, in the world of sports, just not a ton going on here. You see anything here? Any meat on the bone? That really, as we head into July 4th, which is traditionally a very slow time in sports. And, the one thing I'm going to miss is the July 4th where the baseball games start early and they kind of stagger them out throughout the day. Because, but this time it's Saturday anyway, right? So you'd have it. And then I guess tomorrow they're counting that as 4th of July. Like, I mean, most people are working, a lot of people are working from home now anyway. I'm not on the mainland, so I don't really understand how this works. All I know is somebody took my 8:45 tea time. I'm at 8:15 on Saturday, and it's like, what the hell happened here?
I think a lot of the offices are closing early today, so this is July 4th weekend. I would imagine they get off Monday and enjoy the holiday. But the one piece of news I saw, sports handicapping related, is the Detroit Tigers. Just signed a partnership with PointsBet, and I believe they will be the first sponsor of a Major League Baseball team. I believe, I think the Denver Broncos in the NFL have partnered with FanDuel, but it's a trend.
And Sports Chat Place, and Pick Dogs are both partnered with PointsBet, who has some really exciting stuff. And as we have games and all that other stuff, we'll integrate more of that. We have some really good offers for people. The issue that we have with the, and it's not an issue, but the problem that we have with advertising for the sports books right now is that it's not legal in all states. And especially it's not legal online in a lot of states. So there's, it started, it was just New Jersey and Nevada, but now we have a bunch more that are joining. Illinois should be joining shortly, but Colorado makes sense. FanDuel makes sense. They're friends of ours as well. PointsBet, I love what they're doing. PointsBet super, super aggressive right now. So they're going to be offering a lot of really, really good stuff that the other guys won't do. And as far as DraftKings go, we're not. DraftKings, we might not work with DraftKings. We're going to talk on Monday and see if we can iron out the wrinkles, but let's just say they're on my list right now, and I probably said a couple things to them that they didn't like. I'm honest, it's like, I always demand to speak to the president. They do not like that.
No, they don't.
Generally not well received.
Absolutely.
Well, it's just, I had a deal with DraftKings, and because of everything that transpired over the last year, I brought it to their attention and I said, hey, we should probably redo the contract because, well, my tax ID changed and some of the other important information, like my address, where you send the checks, things like that. And they said, sure. And they send over a contract, and the terms are, it's like they tried to slide in a couple, because I'm not a lawyer, right? And I just figure I'm getting the same contract. They slide in a couple of things. It's like, I thought we're partners. I consider everyone that we work with, whether it be like Brian Bittler and Dana Lane and Steve and Chris and Rod and everybody that I work with, I consider my partner. And it's like trying to win one over on me isn't part of that. So we gave it a couple days to simmer down because it was bad, but
Saturday Night Live, simmer down now.
What I like,
Simmer down.
what I like to work with DraftKings, of course. Is it a be all end all that we need to? I mean, we have deals currently with FanDuel, PointsBet, BetMGM, Rivers Casinos, Bet365, Unibet, 888, Stars. So you could Sugar House. So you could see we have a lot of ground covered. Would we like to have DraftKings in it? Of course we do. Do they want to work with us? Of course they do. It's like I've been working with them forever, right? It's like I was working with DraftKings when they first started, like when I first started. So I don't know, nice guys generally. I think what happened is they sent out their standard contract, to me, and I don't know. I personally don't understand it, but like I said, we'll hash it out. These, they're generally good guys, and I would say, I don't know, 25%. Yeah, so we are going to see a lot of sponsorships, and I know PointsBet doesn't have the names, and neither do some of these other places, but we're going to get you more familiar with them. We have some really cool stuff we're going to be doing with the Puck Dogs. Rod and I were going over it just the other day offline. I was showing Rod what we're going to be doing for his Birdcage segment and stuff going forward, and stuff that we're going to have on the website, which is where, as always, you'll see it on our site, and then over the next 6 months, you'll start to see it kind of go off to all of the other sites as they say, wow, Mitch is doing it, we're going to do it. Probably be on the Monahan Brothers host site as well.
That's true. Okay. Outside of that, again, there's Corona here and there. Major League Baseball should be reporting soon. NBA players are still talking, several of not playing. Big deal, though. There'll be enough to get the season going. And let's just hope, again, the Corona doesn't spike even further and causes a disruption into what we are highly anticipating is handicapping games.
Absolutely. And watching games and, the whole thing, it's like, hey, when are we going to the store? The game will be over, right? I mean, this is, my wife knows that a college basketball lasts 30 seconds is a clear half hour. It was in the marriage vows.
That's right.
All right. Steve, we'll see you back in just a little bit for our wrap-up section. Let me bring in the Puck Dogs. Good morning, guys. Rod, texting away over there. What's happening? Was that 3 exclamation points and a wow emoji going on over there on that text?
I was reading. I was reading a sports article, reading a news article.
Nice. What's the news you have for us? What's the deal with hockey? Right, we got gone to the players' vote.
That's what I was reading. They spent all last night till wee hours in the morning hashing out the deal, so they'll have the times for games, this collective bargaining agreement that they've been working on. They should be able to extend that for 2 years. So they've been working on just more than getting this back to hockey. So it'll come to the vote. They figure by early as the weekend here. By the end of the weekend, they should have a big announcement from hockey saying here's the dates. This is when we're going to play. We already know they're going to be playing in Toronto and Edmonton. So it'll be the first time the Stanley Cup has been dished out on Canadian soil since 2011.
It could be the first time it's dished out in Toronto since the Eisenhower administration.
Since 1960.
It's like,
it's
like the good news is the cup is coming to Toronto. The bad news is, the Leafs aren't. The Leafs aren't part of the conversation. But anyways, Chris, any thoughts here on this development here?
I'm just ready for the NHL to get back as well. I'm ready to have it wherever it goes, whether it have been Vegas, Edmonton, Toronto, doesn't matter to me. Just bring it back.
speaking of back, Hoops is back this weekend.
Yeah.
Right? Talk a little bit about the TBT tournament, if you can, Chris. Just give us like a little bit of an overview. I don't know if Rod has been following this, but I know Chris has been just dialed in. So, I know he's already knows like the players on the teams. He's already gone under the under the hood of this sucker. So if you could just give us kind of like a broad overview of TBT, and it's definitely something we're going to be covering on the show, and I'm going to be following it too, and I might even do some videos.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely a 24-team single elimination tournament, March Madness style in Columbus. Winning team takes home $1 million. The one thing, a couple things I thought.
5-on-5? 5-on-5?
5-on-5.
How many man rosters?
I'm seeing anywhere from 8 to 10 players.
8 to 10 man rosters. Now,
Yeah.
NBA rules, college rules, playground rules. First to 20.
Actually, well, that's one of the things I was going to say. They are implementing the elam ending that we saw in the All-Star game this past season, where fourth quarter you play to a target score. Yeah, as far as I know, they're implementing NBA rules. Either NBA or NCAA. I was reading over it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
because this will be a factor on the totals.
Yes, it will.
It's going to be a factor on the totals.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's 2014 field. They've already released all the teams and who's playing who. 8 teams get a first round bye.
Can you throw out a couple of names like of that guys that we would know that are playing in this tournament? I mean, because this is like, so the to kind of, I know Chris is kind of, he's so excited about it, and he's kind of like, he's so buried in it, and I know he is because I see all those articles that he's been writing in Sports Chat on it. So it's like, the thing is that with the TBT, it's a blend of veteran NBA guys that are now out of the league, kind of like retired older guys. So these guys can still play, a lot of them, right? Can still really play. And then a lot of college guys that we've seen throughout the years that kind of didn't make it, right? But we're still great at the college level. So these are guys that can play. This is not like us playing, like throwing on a couple of shirts, and running out on the court. So who are some of the bigger names out there?
I will say just before I go ahead, it's our other Chris that's been covering these, but I'm still neck deep in these TBT games. But one of the teams I'm looking at is actually playing first day. It's their first time of the tournament is War Tampa. A bunch of Auburn, Florida guys, and they have names that we've seen as early as last season or the year before. Scotty James out of Liberty, Bryce Brown from Auburn. We saw Fletcher McGee from Wofford. So this is a younger team.
These are guys that Fletcher McGee was in the that Kentucky game in the tournament 2 years ago, right? Yeah. So
and I think he dropped 20 or 30 points in that game.
Yeah. So he can shoot. So in something like this where he's not, we're going to see some effective play.
We've also got they're playing, I think, House of Pain, the Illinois alumni. So you got guys like Billy Garrett, LeRon Black, Mike Daum, because he's from Illinois.
Of course, Mike Daum from South Dakota State. He hit that bomb in the NCAA tournament against Texas from half court with 2 seconds left. I think he played at South Dakota State for 8 years maybe.
And I think he averaged a double-double for every one of those years.
He was just, I mean, here's a guy that I'm surprised he didn't make it in the NBA. Maybe for some of these guys it's a chance to show that they still have it, and hopefully they see it that way.
Yeah.
But what do we, anyways, Steve Money and some heavy breathing in the background there. But anyways, we got soccer going on as well today. So where are we going with soccer? We got Bundesliga playoffs, right? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
Or we have Bundesliga playoffs. We've got Premier League, Liverpool in action today, Man City, right? Action.
Yeah.
We've got La Liga. We've got Serie A. This is my nap section.
I've got 5 games.
I'm trying to get excited. I'm doing the best I can here.
Hey, that's all
murdered.
That's all we can ask for is you at least trying to get excited.
I'm trying, man. I'm fighting the good fight here. I went to the doctor yesterday and they put me on some pretty heavy medication. Apparently, that my arms, the thing that I had on my arms, is related to an old back injury. Injury I didn't even know, right? It's like I'm one of those people. It's like, I mean, I was always like, rub a little dirt on it type of guy, So it's like
It'll work itself out.
I didn't even know I had these injuries. It's from my old axe throwing days.
I told you, man. I told you. You gotta stop doing the underhand. It screws up your elbow. You're asking for Tommy John that way.
All right. What do we got on tap for today? How many best bets you got?
I have a bird cage and I have a couple of long shots that I'm looking at. 2 long shots.
How about you, Rod? How many picks you got?
I got a best bet bird cage and a long shot bird cage.
Nice. Let's start with the long shots of today's action. Chris, who's your long shots?
My first one is a game we kind of touched on. Rod touched on in his bird cage yesterday. I like Atalanta to win against Napoli, and I like over 4.5 goals as well at plus 575. Each of Atalanta's last 3 games since the restart seen 5 goals. I think this is another offensive game. I wouldn't be surprised to see 5 or 6 goals here. So that's one of my long bets of the day. Atalanta to win combined with the over 4.5 goals at plus 575.
Rod, I know you like that. I know you like Hotlanta as well. You talked about it yesterday. They one of your long shots on the board. I assume.
They are, but I'm gonna take Atlanta first half draw. I think the first half will be like 1-1.
What are the odds?
Serie A games?
What are the odds on something like that? That first half draw.
Plus 130 first half draw.
So a little bit of meat on the bone there. Plus money on the draw. Worth
on the
a
draw.
shot.
I think first half I see 1-1. That's what I've been seeing in these Serie A games is you see a lower scoring first half and then they just blow up the second half. It's like we've easily seen 4 goals, 5 goals in some games in the second half. So
I'll be tuning in the second half of
first
any
half.
Serie A games that come across the TV. What else we got, Rod? What's another long shot you got on board for today?
Osasuna versus Eibar. I'm gonna take that one first half draw as well. Same thing. I think teams will be feeling. These are 2 bad teams. I see it being close first half. So give me. And the last one on the long shot birdcage, going Liverpool versus Man City, draw, and both teams to score. That bet alone, I made that bet a single bet as well. I like the draw there, and both teams to score at plus 350 on that one. You have parlay Atlanta first half, Eibar first half draw, Liverpool draw versus Man City, and both teams to score. You got a plus 1920.
Chris?
Yeah, actually, funny enough, I had Liverpool the draw with both teams to score as well, plus 350. But as far as the Eibar game goes, I have the full-time draw at plus 220.
Sounds like a group hug to me. Just a big loving over here with the puck dogs.
That's the only difference for me. Mine's the full-time draw, not the first half draw. I think it's like Rod said, these are 2 teams that aren't really all that good in the La Liga standings, and
it's crazy, man. It's you know what it is? It's the world coming together. We got Toronto, where one half of the NHL is going to be. We got Edmonton, where the other half of the NHL is going to be. It's all coming together.
And for this game, 5 of the last 6 have been draws at full time, so I'll take the draw plus 220. Couple other I'm looking at. Another one of the long bets I'm looking at is in the Bundesliga playoffs, Werder Bremen to win to 0 against Heidenheim. It's a 2-legged playoff. Bremen wasn't that great at home this season, but Heidenheim's only scored 1 goal in their last 6 away games, and those were all against teams in the second division. I don't see them doing much here, especially when Bremen won 6-1 to give themselves a chance to salvage their season. So I'll take Werder Bremen to win to 0 plus 170 against Heidenheim.
I don't know. Every time Ruffalo starts spitting out these German names, I just start thinking about hot apple strudel and a scoop of vanilla. Rod, what do you got?
And a bratwurst.
I'll stick with the strudel. They used to have a place in Cambridge in Harvard Square, a German restaurant. They had a nice strudel. I think it was called.
Oh, give me a schnitzel.
I think it's called
Give me
the
some
Worst
schnitzel.
House. The Worst
me
House
some
in
schnitz.
Harvard Square.
Give me some schnitzel. Schnitzel. Schnitzel and some spätzle to go with it. Oh yeah.
Speaking of
Good
schnitzel,
stuff.
what do you got for for picks?
Going back to the Osuna and the Eibar game. I'm gonna take that one under 2.5 goals. I see this a low scoring game. I see at most 1-1. So take that game under 2.5. I'm also taking Liverpool over 2.5 goals, and take hot Atlanta over 3.5 goals. Parlay those three together, and you get a +450. I really like that. That's probably my best bets of the day right there.
Chris, you got anything else for us?
Yeah, two more. Just quickly, I like AS Roma to win to 0 against Udinese. Roma's won 12 of the last 14 head-to-head, and 7 of those have been shutout wins, including 5 shutout wins in the last 6. So I like Roma to shut out Udinese at +180. And Real Madrid to win to 0 against Getafe. It's the same thing. Getafe's 0-7 this year against teams in the top 6. I see this being a 1-2-0 Madrid win, so I'll take Real Madrid to win to 0 against Getafe. So that'll be my birdcage. Roma to win to 0 against Udinese. Eibar and Osasuna draw at +220, and Real Madrid to win to 0 against Getafe at +110. Altogether should be about +1750.
All right. There you have it. Lots of soccer, lots of picks, and hopefully soon we're talking about stuff that I know what we're talking about, which is NBA, Major League Baseball, some football. You know, what I.
Oh yeah,
you know,
bring it.
And, you know, maybe I'm shallow and short-sighted, but these are my games. You know, maybe some.
I like the CFL too, and CFL is another news thing. They're looking at trying to do a hub city thing as well. The CFL in discussions about maybe getting a hub city and play all the CFL teams.
What are
play
they, 5
in
teams?
in the city.
Six teams? 4 teams these days?
1, 2, 3,
9.
4,
Really?
5.
9 teams.
Wow. Did they have an expansion or something?
Who's the 9?
Or maybe it's 8.
Oh, yeah, 9
I
teams.
thought it was 9. No, 9. Ottawa
Vancouver,
was the last one.
Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, Toronto, Hamilton,
Ottawa.
Montreal. 8. Oh, Ottawa. Yeah, 9. You're right, 9.
2 Rough
that's why they
Riders.
got odd.
2 Rough Riders in a professional league.
Yep.
2 Rough Riders.
2 Rough
It's
Riders.
not. It's like the SEC. Let's just call them Tigers and Bulldogs. All
Well,
right.
now Ottawa's the Red Blacks.
Oh,
They went out as the Renegades in the early 2000s, and then they came back about 5-6 years ago as the Red Blacks, just because those are the team colors. That's about it.
I don't even know what that means. Bring Steve Monahan back in and
The jersey is red and black. That's all you need to know.
okay. I got an idea.
That could be the dumbest nickname of a franchise I think I've ever heard.
I got an idea. Hear me out on this one.
Exactly.
Red. Our colors are red and black. We'll be the Red Blacks. Think about it.
Think about it. Think about it. Go home. Think about it.
Want to make this
Think out of the box here.
Keep
okay?
it simple.
Work with me here.
red, black, red, black. New word. Hashtag red.
I love it. Let's go with it.
Hashtag Red Blacks. All right, we do a wrap-up section every day where everyone gets a chance to talk about something. And normally, I'm well prepared for this, so mine's going to be off the cuff.
Oh, no.
Since I kind of opened.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, we always start with Chris Ruffalo. Chris,
It's never a bad thing.
except when it's a bad thing.
Except 100% of the time. Now, going back to NHL, I see one of the new things that's gone into the new collective bargaining agreement between the Players Association and the league is player participation in the Olympics, and I think that's a great thing. As much as I love the World Cup of hockey and the concept, and when the Olympics roll around, we want to see the best of the best against each other. And I think that having professionals back at the Olympics is only going to bring that back and going to bring the intrigue back into Olympic hockey. So I think that's a very good thing for the sport going forward.
There you have it. We'll go to, come back to me, and then we will go to Rod. Rod? You're up. Deer in the headlights. Now he's frozen.
But now, the big golf tournament. Check out the golf tournament, and also this hockey coming back. Yeah, I agree with Chris. This having the NHL players in the Olympics is awesome because then people tune in. Otherwise, I'm not watching the Olympics. Boring. Big weekend coming up. We got some NASCAR races Saturday, NASCAR races Sunday. Trying to get excited. Let's go.
All right. We'll go to Steve Monahan.
And it's day 3, and I'm still quit smoking. So, and I think yesterday was the worst day out of them all. I think.
Yeah, that's no fun. So quitting smoking, no fun.
I have left. Oh no.
As I said, as I've said, man, if someone told me this was my last week or something, I'd be right at the store buying a pack of Marlboro Red. It's been 15 years since I smoked. So it gets better.
It does. I know it gets better. But
it's 15 years later. I'm still thinking about having a cigarette. All right, Steve.
Well, the Washington Redskins are in the news. I think they are going to get so much heat now about the name change. They're actually starting to target not the Redskins, but the anti-Redskin contingent. They're starting to go after the sponsors now. The Redskins made a right move by getting rid of the statue of George Preston Marshall, who was the owner back in the 50s, 60s. He was absolutely an avowed racist. The Washington Redskins were the last team to integrate. Bobby Mitchell was the first black player. They're actually going to be retiring Bobby Mitchell's number, which is a good thing. But Dan Snyder, the owner, is adamant about keeping the name. So this is just beginning, and the pressure is going to come. And I think the Indians in baseball and the Chiefs in football, and I just think they're all going to be targeted now, and we shall see how it plays out. But the Redskins are front and center, and you're going to hear a lot about it going forward. That's it.
I opened the show talking about what we're going to be doing at Sports Chat Place and Pick Dogs, and the sports handicapping business hasn't always been seen as the most upstanding and cleanest and honest business in the world. But I think that 12 years ago, and I talked to Steve about starting his site with his brother, what they're doing with their Mono and Mono podcast. When I first started, I didn't even know what I was doing, but I ended up changing this entire industry. And as you see what other sites are doing, it's normally, like I said, what we were doing 2 years ago or 6 months ago or anything like that. They just follow what we do. When I started in this industry, nobody gave out free picks on every game. You saw some free predictions here and there. They gave out like a free pick and stuff, but you never saw free picks on the Grambling versus Jackson State game, that's for sure. And, since I came on tap, people realized. But along with that, some of the guys who we don't trust and don't work with also, have come onto that. So what you're going to see when sports come back, and I know it's been a while now at this point, you're going to see a lot of new players in this industry. It's just like every football season where all of a sudden we see these new sites come up. Not everybody out there has your best interests in mind. I named off a bunch of sports books that we're going to be working with. I think a lot of these other guys might be working with the same guys. So be it. I mean, it's of course it's everybody's choice as to who they work with, but you have to remember that at the end of the day, I never recommend or ask you or would say anything to you guys that I wouldn't use myself or that I didn't think you were going to do anyways. So I think that's pretty much the way that I stand. And you know, with me, what you see is what you get. I'm not perfect. I know it's hard for some of you to believe out there, but I'm not. And you know, but I tell you one thing: I never waver. You know, what you see is what you get with me. It's not like I avoid controversy. It's not like I avoid the issues. It's not like I run from trouble. I'm certainly not a coward, and I'm pretty much fearless. And it bugs the crap out of a lot of people because they're the exact opposite. But anyways, just make sure. I don't want to hear the horror stories. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of them because these guys are all over the place. There are people coming from, you know, I see it behind the scenes, people coming in from all over. And like I said, these people don't all have your best interest in mind. Like when you know, I've rarely pushed anything over the years, right? I've only endorsed three products in the entire 14 years I've been online. Hockey Advisor, which was a lot of fun. It was a software that I did in the recorded videos on YouTube. You can Google it. And it was successful. The company ended up going under, not because anything that we did, but these guys just, they didn't have a business mind for it, you know. And my site wasn't big enough to carry them back then. The other product I endorsed was a company that was acquired by the Action Network. So obviously an upstanding, you know, company. And then the other one that I endorsed is Spread Knowledge, you know, with Charles, that, you know, if you were a Spread Knowledge subscriber at any time using the code Mitch, Charles gave everybody a free month to get the restart started. So, you know, these are the type of companies, and of course we'll be doing those Spread Knowledge videos again. But like I said, just really be careful out there. I know we're going to hear some horror stories. I know it. So, anyways, don't be part of the horror stories. You know, just if you have any questions at all on this stuff, you know, we try and keep them out of the Facebook group and stuff, but, you know, we'll figure out a way, maybe post it or, you know, send me an email and I'll say post it in the Facebook group or something like that. I'm worried about the state of our industry. I'm concerned. It's going to be massive exponential growth, but that's not always a good thing because it always invites those people that we don't want to work with, especially in this business. Speaking about unsavory characters, we're going to bring the guys back in. So that wraps up another show. Thanks everyone for joining us. I think we came up with a couple of good ideas as we do them on the fly here, and I'm pretty excited about everything. Like I said, maybe this weekend I'll start doing a few videos. I'm not going to do like, you know, what the other guys are doing. I'll talk about an NFL game in mid-September or something. I mean, unless you guys really want to hear my prediction on the game that you know, we don't even know who's going to get injured in training camp. Sean Lee is still healthy, right? It's like we don't even know who's going to be playing, and it's like they're talking about these games. You know, it just doesn't even make sense. Normally, I do the videos the day before the game, right? The night before, and it's like it's out there for just a few hours, and it's like these guys are trying. I don't know. I think they're not going to talk to you live, right? Because they're cowards. But you know, it is what it is. We'll get them. We always do. Mitch, Steve, Chris, Rod, everybody, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow at the same time on. As Apple said on my phone this morning, 4th of July observed, even though it's July 3rd. Have a great day.